Memphis Center, Roger, altimeter 3036.
Well, hello guys and gals, it's me, your old buddy Mr. Moose, back with another edition of Air Hauler 2 and a little FSX. We are continuing our flight to Memphis, Tennessee, where we are flying in the Dornier DO 228. And yeah, we started out the other day from Gulf Shores, and we are about 45 miles outside of Memphis. Headed in. Air traffic control has taken us off of our flight path and has us on a heading right now of I think 340, something like that. Let's look real quick. Come on now, show me what it is. Yeah, I think it's 340 is what we're on. Anyways, welcome back. Glad to have you. Appreciate you guys coming out today to see if I wreck this beast. Hopefully we get her down in one piece, we get paid. We got about $800,000 worth of aircraft engines on here, as well as some automotive parts that we're taking up to our moped facility here in Memphis. So far, flight's been pretty good. We've had a monster headwind pretty much the whole flight. If we look real quick at our FMC, you'll see our headwind right here. 38 knots, that's just a beast. But it's been a pretty decent flight. I got bounced around a little bit at one point. Other than that, it's been pretty calm. You'll see our ground speed right now is 175. Our airspeed is 180. Our distance is about 56 miles according to our flight plan. We've got about 19 more minutes left up here. I do expect air traffic control to start giving us our descent here pretty soon. So that's what we're just waiting on. They've basically got us just flying a little bit parallel off of our original flight plan. So we shouldn't be too much longer before we start our descent and head on in. So far, we've only consumed about, well, if I look up here on this, 756 pounds of fuel is what we have consumed since we started the engines earlier. So like I said, we're probably going to use about 1,000 pounds of fuel in this flight. That's about it. So anyways, glad to have you guys along. Not really sure how the approach to this airport. This is one I have not flown into. So alright, turn right 010. Yeah, we were at 340 was what we were flying.
Turn right heading 010, Dornier 579er. Memphis Center, orbit 3645 with you. Orbit 3645. Center, Roger.
Acting up a little bit.
Memphis Center,
there we go.
November 11964.
Alright, so heading of 010. They've been kind of juking me around. If you've flown flight sim enough, you know that if you fly IFR, when you get towards the airport about 50 miles out, 60 miles out, they start juking you around. You'll go to one heading, and then they'll bring you right back. In a minute, they'll bring us right back. So, yeah, there it is. Bring us back to 335.
Dornier 579er.
So we'll bring it back around to 335. And then at some point, they'll probably bring us back to 010. Alright, so there's 335 on the heading bug. I've gone ahead and locked in my my ILS frequency. We are heading in on ILS runway 17 is going to be where we're headed into. So I've got that locked in to there. We'll flip it over once we get closer into the airport. I've also gone ahead and programmed in my approach vectors for the airport, so we do have those. It gives us the approach vectors as well as it'll give us our missed runway or missed approach fly off. So all that information is programmed in. Pretty simple. You can do that in the FMC for this plane. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I'll pull this up. If you wanted to do that in the FMC, it's pretty easy to do. You just basically come into your flight plan, go into menu. You can program your arrival. If you come down to approach, you press this button. It'll give you a list of the runways. You select the runway you want with a numerical value here. Press enter. Then it'll ask you if you want the vectors or what you're looking for as far as the approach. You put that in there, and then it automatically populates everything for you. So it's pretty simple to do. So you can see we've got all that set up. But basically, I'm just waiting on them to tell me to come down out of the clouds, and we'll make our approach in. So anyways, how you doing today? Hope you guys are doing great. I am, again, I'm flying with a modified rig. I've got my Cytec yoke that I'm doing most of my flying with, but I do have, as far as my rudder and braking, I'm using a joystick that I have next to me because I've only got one good leg, so it's kind of hard to do the rudder pedals with one good leg. So yeah, I can't put any pressure on the other leg, so that's the reason why I've got it set up that way. So that's about it. That's about where we're at. So I'll just kind of fly around here, and we'll take some cool looking shots, and when they tell us to descend, we'll descend down to our approach level. I'm going to go ahead and pull in my my weather here real quick. Take a look at the destination weather. The one thing I don't like also about the modeling of this particular plane is the comm system on it is a single channel comm. You're not able to overlay your second comm frequency with this one. Alright, so bring it over to 015.
Turn right heading 015. Dornier 579er.
Alright, 015. So looking at the conditions.
Contact Memphis Center on 118.625.
Wind is coming in at 100 at 6 knots. Alright, acknowledge that handoff. Good visibility. Overcast at 55. So we should have a good approach. We'll have a little bit of crossing wind, but not too much.
Dornier, November Whiskey 579er, Memphis Center, Roger, altimeter 3035. Dornier 579er, turn left heading 335.
See, we're doing the same little juke dance. It's just taking us right back and forth each way. In just a second, though, they should tell us to go ahead and descend. Then we'll get our descent on. I did go ahead and turn the engine limiter off, so I just don't really see a need for it at this point in the game. Somebody, like I said, I need to do a little bit more looking into it and see if it's something that you need to have on all the time. But at this point, I just don't see that you need to have it. Let's bring up our autopilot. Go ahead and have it setting up here so that we don't have to look way back here to do our autopilot stuff. And also, the remote for it is way over here, and it's hard to see from this angle, so it's just easier to adjust it. However, sometimes the pull here to change from flight level to your vertical speed, sometimes it doesn't really work well, so I tend to have it set up here so I can just reach over and pop the button right there and adjust it there. But what I was talking about a minute ago with the comms is in a lot of different mods, or a lot of different models and flights, you can go ahead on your radio and you can select COM 1 and COM 2 at the same time, so that you can listen to COM 1 and also listen to 2 at the same time, so that if you want to get your ATIS, you can flip the ATIS on and get your weather from your destination airport, so that you know what the barometric pressure, all that good stuff is on your approach in. And you're not able to do that on this particular aircraft. If I've got a frequency set up here so I can listen to it, and if I do it, it changes out and
Kilo
gets rid
Alpha
of the other
Whiskey
one.
Mike Airport information. Foxtrot 1653 Zulu weather. Wind 101 at 6. Visibility 10. Sky condition ceiling 5500. Overcast temperature 13. Dew point 3. Altimeter 3035. Advice on initial contact. You have information. Foxtrot.
Right, so again, it cut out the other comm radio when I had that on, which is sort of annoying. I'd like to make sure that I can hear both frequencies when I'm doing it, you know, because knowing my luck, the moment I say that I want to go over and listen to the weather and it cuts out, that's when they give me an order to go and do something. I come back and they're like, how come you're not responding? So, I don't know. I just wanted to check my barometric pressure. So barometric pressure was 3035. So we're set for 3036. Let's crank that down one, and we're pretty good. Getting a little bit of cloud cover here as we approach Memphis. It's been clear skies up until now, but yeah, you got a pretty good cloud bank here. It's going to take us down. I think the ceiling height was 5,500, so we'll be going through the clouds a little bit on our descent, which I'm shocked that we haven't started our descent now already.
Dornier 579er, descend and maintain 2000.
There we go. Alright, so let's acknowledge that. Altitude select. Crank that down to 2,000, and then we'll go ahead and get our vertical speed. We're going to come down at about 1,500. There we go. And I'll pull the power back so we don't overspeed on our descent. And look, I reacted fast enough that they didn't complain at me that I wasn't doing it fast enough. Alright, so at this point I'm going to switch down here on the panel. I'm going to switch from GPS to nav. That way my VORs are working. Acknowledge our handoff here.
5.8 for Dornier 579er.
Go to Memphis approach. Contact Memphis approach.
Dornier, November Whiskey 579er is at 11,000.
Yeah, I mean, this is our approach in right here, so...
Dornier, November Whiskey 579er, Memphis approach, roger. Altimeter 3034.
Alright, so let's set this up for 170.
Turn right heading 010. Dornier 579er.
Oh, we gotta fly all the way around the airport, I bet. Here we go. Alright, so let's flip this around and set her up for 170, which is our runway that we're coming in on.
Dornier 579er, turn left heading 335.
Alright, turn left to 335. Basically doing the same dance that we've been doing.
Dornier 579er.
Letting us burn off a little bit of our speed and our altitude. Let's go ahead and turn that throttle way back down, almost bring it into the beta. Nothing but clouds. Nothing but clouds. Get the old flyby. Do the flyby. Yeah, it's nothing but clouds. Not a whole lot to see, huh?
579er, contact Memphis approach on 119.1.
But that did tell me one thing. I almost forgot to turn my landing lights back on. Turn my strobes on. Do the Memphis approach.
Memphis approach, Dornier, November, Whiskey 579er, 7,400 for 2,000. Dornier, November, Whiskey 579er, Memphis approach, roger. Altimeter 3034. Orbit 4. Descend and maintain 1,700. Descend and maintain 1,700. Orbit 430.
Alright, turn on our demisters. Should have done that a little bit earlier. Just going through my descent checklist here, making sure I've got everything set right. Cabin signs are on. Power and engine speed levers. I'm going to go ahead and bring my RPMs back up to 97%. There we go. Passing 6,000. Right. But yeah, we got to go all the way around the airport to make our landing. Forgot we were coming in on 17. And get rid of that.
Orbit 4307. Turn right heading 155.
All right.
Turn right heading 155. Orbit 4307.
Yeah, I really like this plane. It's a lot of fun to fly. Looks good. I like the style of it. When I first saw it, I thought, man, that's an odd looking bird. But the more I look at it, I just think, man, that's a good looking plane. Looks like a cargo plane, doesn't it? You know? Kind of that boxy frame of it. But that hump right over, you know, where they didn't continue that line, and it has that hump right there at the wing. That's just sort of a bizarre look. I like it though. Good looking plane. I just need to do some sort of cool livery for it. It's got some pretty nice liveries that come with it, but most of them are all like island stuff or you know, something from European. Nothing really U.S. There are some liveries out there where people have done some. I just might give it a stab at making my own.
Altimeter 3035. Orbit 4307. Turn right heading 185.
Alright, if we look, there's the pyramid in Memphis. And our airport should be just across the river there. So
579er, turn right heading 015. Turn right heading 015. Dornier 579er.
alright, 015 is where we're headed to.
Dornier 579er, contact Memphis approach on 125.8. 125.8 for Dornier 579er.
Alright, change frequencies again.
Memphis approach, Dornier, November, Whiskey 579er with you.
And at this time we can go ahead and change our
November, Whiskey 579er,
radio
Memphis
frequencies
approach,
here.
Roger. Altimeter 3035.
and get set up for our approach.
Turn left heading 345.
Left 345, huh?
Turn left heading 345. Dornier 579er.
It's the same thing over and over. Turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right. And it does it regardless of whether you need to do it or not. It's just sort of built into the whole flight model. I'm going to keep my speed around 150 knots right now. We're leveled off at 2,000 feet. But until we get around the airport and start making our way to our approach, I'm going to keep my speed up a little bit. As we start getting closer to the actual approach, then I'll bring the speeds back down, throw some flaps in, and throw my gear down and all that. You have to be under 160 for the gear to come down. I usually get down around under 150 before I throw the gear down, unless I need it to whoa me up a little bit. But I really haven't had much of a problem whoaing this plane up. It'll slow up. Unlike that JS41, that JS41, it was like flying a brick. It did not want to slow up at all. But I still plan on flying that plane. I'm going to fly this one for a little bit, and then probably buy a couple of JS41s as well, and probably use those for cargo though. But you know, because they give me a huge amount of cargo that I can carry in. You know, probably about double what this thing will carry. But I don't know. I'm not sold on doing the passenger service in Air Hauler. It's pretty simple to do the flight service or the flight passenger service as far as setting the sectors up. I might set one up one day just to show you guys how it's done and everything. But I don't know. Once you set it up, it just runs every day and does it. You just have to make sure that you have the crew to do all the legs of it. But from what I've read, I read a lot of people's horror stories where their pilots are always crashing the planes, or like every day somebody damages a plane, and you know, you start eating into your budget if you start doing that. Luckily, most of the pilots that I've hired have been pretty good about not damaging the plane. I think the algorithm builds in where they're going to wreck it regardless, periodically, and they're going to have a catastrophic approach at some point. But you know, from what I read on the forums, some of the people who have passenger services, they're making a little bit of money, but the little bit of their money gets eaten away every couple of days when somebody, you know, has a hard landing and tears the plane up. And one of the things that was changed recently in the game is a pilot won't fly a plane if it's not at a certain amount of repair. Where before I was getting away with having my pilots fly with, you know, 50% aircraft. Some of them won't fly them if they're not repaired up as good enough. Alright, so we're going to turn back to 305.
Hybrid Archer, 1 mile south of Kilo Oscar Lima Victor.
Oops, going the wrong way.
Hybrid November 6185 Victor, Memphis departure, squawk 1777, Dornier 579er, turn left heading 275. Turn left heading 275, Dornier 579er. Squawk 1777, Hybrid 85
All right.
Victor. Hybrid 85 Victor, radar contact 2 per mile.
So we're starting to be
Oscar Lima Victor,
vector to the other side of the Mississippi.
3035. Copy. Hybrid 85 Victor.
But we'll cross over the river and then they'll start bringing us in towards the airport.
Memphis departure. Hybrid November 6185 Victor. Type Hybrid Archer. 2 per mile southwest of Kilo Oscar Lima Victor. 1000.
Boy, this would be a bad time to lose an engine.
Bravo. Airspace. Hybrid November 6185 Victor. Memphis departure. Squawk 7301. Squawk 7301. Hybrid 85 Victor.
I gotta get, I'm thinking about migrating everything over to Prepared 3D. I have Prepared 3D. I just haven't moved over to it because everything, I have bought a lot of stuff for FSX, have so many add-ons and everything for FSX that I don't want to move over to. I've been hesitant to move over to Prepared 3D, but I may end up doing it. And when I do, I've been holding off on buying Rex 4 textures, or I guess that's what it is. I've been holding off on buying that for the water and everything because I don't know if I'm going to move over to Prepared or not. I could buy the Steam edition of it, but the Steam edition of it isn't going to, you know, transfer over to Prepared 3D. At least I don't think it will. Like, I ended up buying Active Sky Next, and I bought it on Steam, and I won't be able to use that with Prepared. I'm going to have to rebuy that as well. So until I get all the migration done and get everything running up on Prepared, I'm going to hold off on buying that. But I really do want to get some more add-ons in to make the scenery look a little bit better. The scenery for my area is so limited anyways. If you're, you know, if you're not flying through the mountains or over on the west or in the Caribbean, there's not a whole lot of scenery packages out there, or at least I haven't seen them.
November Whiskey 579er with you. Dornier, November Whiskey 579er, Memphis approach. Roger. Altimeter 3036. Dornier 579er, you are 17 miles north, turn left heading 210, descend and maintain 2000. Cleared ILS, runway 17, approach. Maintain 2000 until established on the localizer. Switch to advisory on 123.05.
Alright, let's acknowledge that. We're going to go ahead and start slowing up. Get a little flaps in.
Cleared ILS, runway 17, approach. Maintain 2000 until established. Advisory on 123.05.
Go ahead and get our gear down. We're still 17 miles away from the airport according to the DME on this, so we got a little bit of time. We'll go ahead and contact the tower. Oh, actually, this one doesn't have a tower. Huh. So we'll announce our position. Now watch, I will forget to announce that I'm on final.
16 miles north inbound ILS runway 17.
Alright, give it a little bit more power, get that nose to come over a little bit. And we'll just start watching our heading bug for when it tells us we need to start our approach in. We're not too far away. Just verify that we've got 10.7 in there. Yep. Just watching for that to move just the littlest bit. There it goes. Go ahead and arm the nav, and that'll start cranking us around for our approach. A little windy. I feel that wind just a little bit now. It's not much, but it's just enough to bump us around some. Alright, we've captured. So we'll let the ILS bring us around and line us up on the runway. And we'll do our before landing checklist. All our lights are on. Check. Yep, we're good there. Ice and rain protection, feeder takes, parking brake handle is stowed. Engine speed levers are on high. That is done. Synchro phaser, need to turn that off. So let's turn that off, which is right here. There we go. Flap levers as required. Landing gear is down. 3 greens is good. Air conditioners to ram air. Brakes are checked. Airspeed, cross-reference. We're all good. All right, so we're on our way, making our way to the airport. See it off up there in the distance. Still a bit out. Coming around on it now. Nine miles out. Watching for the glide slope now. It's gonna take us forever to get there. Seems like it takes forever. Give it a little bit more speed, but I need to back it down. Alright, should be just about to take the glide slope here. Let's do our approach. Oops, went the wrong way on my flaps. Just watch my airspeed. I want to be about 90 to 100 knots. I find that's pretty good. Oh, not much to this airport. Looks like a dirt bowl, actually. Outer marker. A little bit high. Come on back down to it. Alright, 4 miles out. Landing gear is down, flaps are in. We'll just get everything set up. Make our way in. Power in as we're getting a little bit under it. I don't mind so much being just a little bit under it. Alright, where's our wind at? A little bit of a wind coming in out of the east. Alright, so we've got our reference for our base altitude here. We're about 500. 500. We're still a little bit high. Pull the power out again.
Minimums.
Alright, autopilot's off. bring her in here.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
There we go. Reverse. Come on. There we go. Sorry about that. I didn't have it all the way into beta, and so I couldn't get the reversers to work. Ah, well. I make mistakes every once in a while here. Can never get flawless on some of this stuff. Alright, but we're down. We didn't die. And that's all that matters. Yeah, I didn't have it, and that's, again, there's so many things going on now because I'm trying to do the rudders with the joystick, and so I'm trying to get the throttle down and then get my hand over on the joystick and then get her into, I'm still not using a throttle quadrant, I'm using the throttle on the joystick, and then to go into reversers, I'm having to jump up on the keyboard and hit F2 to throw into full reverse, and so I still need to get that taken care of. And as I said, I forgot to announce that I was on final. I will announce that I'm clear of the runway, even though I never told everybody I was on final. I did announce my position at least, you know. Alright, so let's get our brake put on real quick. Go ahead and announce that we're clear of the runway.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey, Mike, traffic, Dornier, November, Whiskey.
Things I can improve on.
Is clear of the runway.
Alright, so we need to bring our throttles back to low. Our prop conditioners back to low. Our engine RPM down to low, but don't go into shut off. Here we go. That's good. Lights, go to taxi lights. Strobes off. That's good. We can turn our pitot heat off. We don't need that anymore. Yep. Flaps up. We'll give it a little power and we'll head over to parking. Oh, I gotta take the brake off. Silly me. Alright, well, we made it. Welcome to Memphis, or welcome to West Memphis, Arkansas. We still would have to take a courtesy car to go over to Memphis. But like I said, as far as affordability, this was a good choice for me. It got me to Memphis. This particular airport had good commodities at it. And it gave me a route up here. I would still, if I start doing passenger service at some point and I want to have a hub here for passenger service, I would actually set that up for Memphis International. But again, I'm doing cargo. I'm focused on cargo. So there's really no need for me to go into Memphis International right now until I get a bigger operation up and running. So I'm going to keep it small for the time being. There's our fuel tanks over on the side over there, but I think we'll just go over here and park next to our Comanche that is on the ground here. So Bethany, our pilot, has made her arrival here. She came in from Oklahoma City and brought a big load of haggis over. to fulfill a contract for it. So we'll just kind of pull over and park right next to her. Go. I think the next one should put us right next to it. Yep. Here we go. And I didn't see the line. There it is. Thought I missed it. That's good enough. All right, let's go parking brake on. Haha, we made it. We didn't die. DME off. All right, so we can go ahead and turn off some lights here real quick. Excuse me. Pardon me. Let's go ahead and turn our landing lights off. Turn our nav lights off. We'll go ahead and shut down our engines. And to do this, and we were talking about the start locks. To do your start locks, you're going to go ahead and bring your prop conditioners to shut off. And as your engines start to wind down, you're going to go ahead and pull these down into reverse and then pop them back up into ground idle. And that will set the start lock on it. Then we'll go ahead, we'll turn our avionics off. Turn off our power. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and reset my air conditioner to normal and turn the bleed air off. Turn our demister off. Clear our warnings. Go ahead and turn our fuel pumps off. Set our start air to vent. Cockpit light off. Cabins off. Seatbelt lights off. Anti-collision light can come off. We can turn our panel off. Turn those lights off. Go ahead and clear these. Turn off the generators. And the batteries can come off. Oops, I'm not... You gotta right click on these. Silly me. Right click, right click, right click, right click. Master off. I think I got everything. I think that's everything. You still have some lights on. I don't know where they come from. But there are still some lights on in here, even though you've turned the power off and everything else like that. I guess they model that so if you do fly at night, you've at least got something you can see. Turn that off. I don't know that I actually ever turned it on. That's another thing I missed. Oh well. All right. That's one of those things I tend to forget is the transponder. Yeah, use my words. All right, so that's it. Let's jump into Air Hauler and get paid. So the first thing we need to do is go into cargo. We'll unload our plane. We'll move our automotive parts over. And then we'll go ahead and move the engines over as well, so that those are stored on our base. And then we go ahead and hit finish flight monitoring. And this will bring up our stats for us. You'll see that we were in flight for 2 hours and 8 minutes. I had a smooth landing. As far as everything that we go, our takeoff fuel, our landing fuel, right at 1,000 pounds is what we used on that. So as I said, it'd be about 1,000 pounds for the flight. Max altitude was 12,060. Max pitch, max roll. Everything looks good. G's are good. We never exceeded any G's. We did have one little bump. That's that big bump I was telling you about. I hit at one point where we had a 1.4. I think 2 is is failure. So that was a pretty good bump that we took there. But what else? That's about it. And you'll see my VSI was negative 143. I need to get that under 100. So I got to work on it. I still got to work on that. But anyways, I'm surprised we didn't have poppy lights on this field. I didn't see any. So, and then we had a wind coming out at 181, which weird. It said it was coming out of the east, but now it says it's coming out at 181 at 6 miles an hour. Oh, there it is. Landing wind direction. There we go. Landing wind direction was 100. Landing heading was 181. Huh. All right. So anyways, we got that finished. So those are all the stats that we did. And again, the job that I was doing was coming up here to sell off some, sell off these aircraft engines, which is this job here. So to finish up my mission, I'm just going to hit supply goods, max, supply the goods. It'll do its little thing. Boom. And Moose gets paid, which is what is all this is about. If we look at finances, we're now over $30 million. I could buy some more planes, which is a good thing. Yeah, if we look at our ledger for the past, let's flip that ledger upside down, bring it back up here. So yeah, you can see the commodities that I just brought the aircraft engine in. 815,000 is what I made on there. Let's see, I had a cargo job income from one of my pilots, got $17,000. Let's see, another one, $13,000 recently. That was while we were flying. And then I made 1.5 million yesterday, and a bit of money as well yesterday, moving poultry and Blu-rays around and selling cigarettes. And yeah, so we're on our roll. We're doing pretty good. And but anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure you smack that like button, give your comments below, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you the next time. Until then, stay safe. God bless you. Bye-bye.